Hi, I'm Heather. I'm part of the Washington group.
Nice to meet you.
You do consent to being recorded?
Yes.
All right, we'll begin. To start off, can you describe what the artistic director does at the Delaware Childrens Theater?
Yes, the artistic director is really the first chain of command. We pick out the shows, we monitor the shows, and many of us, like myself, also direct several of the shows. So in other words, I'll put a season together, I'll choose directors, I'll choose the sound people. The directors then cast themselves, their own group, but I will have the overview. We also help run the office. We are the coordinators for the promotion and publicity. And we also are the key people to coordinate the fundraising.
So is this pretty much a hand in everything then?
It's basically the CEO of a theater. Some theaters may have other people. For us, the artistic director is the head person.
Tell us a little bit about the history of the Delaware Children's Theater.
Yes, in the 70s, my mother is the one who started it, Marie Swijeski. And she had, kids, my brother and myself, and really at that point in the 70s, there wasn't a lot of theater around for kids. There were adult shows or there was Girl Scouts and a lot of sport activities, but we were interested in the art. And so my mother started a group called the Children's Repertory Company, and we would put on plays wherever we could get space, churches, school basements, outside if there was a fair and we could get space. So we'd put shows together and we'd have neighborhood people, and my mother got very well known for this. So some schools began saying, look, we don't have a drama program or anything like this. Can you teach some workshops? She began doing that, got very popular with it because she found out that kids, no matter where they came from, what schools, how old, young, race, whatever, everybody kind of pulled together as a community when they put on a play. Basically, they ended up getting this theater and then calling it the Delaware Children's Theater. And my mother really ran it as the artistic director for many years until I took over about 6 years ago. And she actually just was elected to the Delaware State Hall of Fame for women for her contributions to the arts. So I've now taken it over. We hope to keep it in the community for many years to come. We like to say that, we're not an equity theater house. We are a community theater with professional standards, meaning we audition kids based on talent. It's not like a school where we just take anybody and everybody gets a part. We really get the best people. We have live music. We have a band. We have sound equipment. It is a community organization, and that is about 60 volunteers per show that really help us do everything from costumes, sell concessions, wrangle the kids, that kind of thing.
Because you say that has the same professional standards as a theater company, is the theater open to new child actors, as in people that are just starting out, if they have the talent?
We have open auditions, but they must be 8 years old. For the theater, the biggest problem is picking the right plays, because you don't want too babyish a play where families can't go together and enjoy it if they have a child that's a little older. So we look for shows like Mary Poppins, Peter Pan, even an adult show more that might be like the Matilda, Oliver, those kinds of shows. So we do have adults mixed in with children because that helps us keep the standard up, because these are really professional singers and dancers and actors, and also they help mentor the kids, so it's really a nice blend.
So would you say, like with the mentorship, what are the resources available for new child actors to get them started?
Basically it's on talent. All a child has to do is sing 8 bars of a song. Also, a lot of it is just poise on stage. If you find those kids that seem born to be on stage or just love it, we work with them.
We read that you do summer workshops for the children. Could you describe how those work?
We have 2 workshops. We have a new one starting. The workshops are 2 weeks, and they run from 9 to 12. And what we do is take up to 35 kids, 8 years old and up, and we teach them how to get ready for an audition and how to put a play together. And at the end of 2 weeks, they put on a mini play that their parents can come see. Then we're now doing a 4.5 to 7-year-old 1-week camp, because we're finding that 4 and 5-year-olds really have presence and they want to emulate their big brothers and sisters. So we have a camp for them now, And at the end of that, we just do a little showcase where they may sing a song or do a dance or whatever their abilities are.
Have you ever had to deal with any kids that have a physical disability?
One or two kids with maybe learning disabilities that can't read, or I think once we do have a couple kids who have health issues, maybe really bad allergies. We have people with disabilities coming to see the show, but I've never had anybody come to a camp so far that's had a disability.
We were just wondering if you had history with that. Going back to the volunteers that the company uses, how often do you get volunteers that don't have experience, and how do you manage them?
Every show has, under the director, what's called a production manager, and that's the person who's involved with contacting, putting the rehearsal schedules together, coordinating the tech, and they are the ones that deal with volunteers. We have a sign-up page, and what we say is when your child is in a show, you have to volunteer for 2 tours of duty, we call it kind of. And there's a whole list of things. You could help with the makeup. You could help with concessions. You can greet people at the door. There's different things, and people sign up. And we find that people, the moms and some of the families, just love being around the theater and their kids, so they're there a lot. Then we have longtime volunteers who might be retired. Their own kids have gone to college.
Overall, what is the motivation to keep the theater going?
If you talk to the parents, you will know. I have people stop me on the street and say, what you and your theater have done for my family and my kids, I can't thank you enough. A couple areas that we've helped kids. There's a group of kids that sometimes fall between the cracks, and these are kids that, as the moms tell me, they've never found their tribe, their people, never really found a place to shine. And they said some of them, they come here and they come out of their shell, or they meet like people, and kids form groups, lifelong friendships. We have that, and we also have a lot of kids, parents who say to me, this is the only time that we are together as a family. At home, everybody's in different rooms, but we all come out to the show, we sit together, meet the cast, we take pictures. So keeping that alive in the community is important to us. We're also historic at this point. We actually have earned Delaware Childrens Theater as a historic entity. We were able to save a building that the first woman architect, Minerva Parker Nichols, in our area, we have the only remaining building that she did.
It became sort of the epicenter for the community.
Yes. So I think for that reason, I think it's really important to keep it going if you care at all about community.
Going back to people that work at the theaters, because you use a lot of volunteers, what does the actual on staff look like?
We have 2 part-time office workers, and they do everything. One helps us get grants and helps us do more of the getting into the community, maybe getting on radio stations to promote the show, doing appearances. So we have 2 part-time staff office people and a building manager and myself. Then what we have in our staff, these are volunteer positions. We have what we call house managers, people responsible for running the show for me. They make sure people in wheelchairs get in the access door and get in the right place. They count down to coordinate the lighting, counting down to when the show goes on. They make sure if it's raining or snowing, that's handled, people are safe. We give a training course briefly to the new volunteers that come in. Like, for example, the show I'm doing now has got maybe 47 people in it.
That community theater company that you're running sounds absolutely amazing. Is there anything else that you'd like to add about the company at all?
The only thing I would just say is that don't underestimate theater, because I know in schools a lot of the money goes to sport and programs like that, but the arts are something that give you a background, empathy, to work with people, to understand how to really be a team. And so I really think that theater is underestimated in what it can do in the formation of a child's life. It's not just about dancing and singing.
Thank you. All right.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye-bye.